Good morning, fellow travelers. Today is my court day with my landlord. It's technically his court day, two different days combined. Wow. Criminal contempt against court for denying the court order to give me my possessions back. Yeah, it's not a small deal. Harassment, theft, destruction of property, attempted destruction of evidence, illegally locking me out of my house, assault, uh, coercing the Airbnb guests to not let me back in, having the other old roommates all harass me. These are going to be charges that are taken very seriously. I've considered not suing the guy because it's not really my style to sue. But by not suing him, I'm enabling him to hurt the next person. So I'm going to have to take the money that I get today. I won't get it today because this guy's going to wait a month and they're going to put a lien on all of his possessions at his house, and it'll take like another 3 days and then he'll pay me. But yeah, so I'm taking pictures online of all the stuff that was mine, that was stolen, that he's obviously going to lie and say I didn't have. The price tag's adding up. I mean, from my $200 solar panel to my $350 Nintendo Switch and the $360 games, the backpack, the different tents, the sleeping pads, $40, the paint. Oh my gosh, the paint. You're talking like 15 to 30 bucks per paint tube. And I had a whole bunch of paint. Paintings, original paintings, I'm sorry, but it's $50 an hour. I spent like 8 hours on the one painting and collaborated with the other one for about 5 hours. I missed 2 shifts of work. I could go on, but that's what's going on. And so I've got the paperwork. I've got all the evidence, the photo evidence, the video evidence. I'm just organizing it and getting ready to go in. And I'm going to iron my white shirt, have my black pants and shoes. I'm going to have that black vest with my Nautica tie with the double Windsor knot. And I'm clean shaven with nice hair. And everything's back to normal. He expected to scare me off the island, and that way he could have me not show up to the court date. Man, sociopaths are dense. And I use the word sociopath in the purest sense of the word, because the man is obviously a true sociopath. And having studied mental illness for a long time, that's totally what he is. So he needs help, and I hope that this doesn't destroy his life or his relationship, but there's potential that his wife doesn't realize how in the wrong he was when he's still trying to paint me as the bad guy. And it'll be hard to, call me the bad guy when the truth comes out today in court, and he has to pay for everything out of their money. I don't wish him ill will. I've pretty much just dropped any negative feelings, but I will take the money I earned, and I will get a nice lawyer, and I will sue him on top of everything. Not so I can get money, but so this guy can not do this to anyone else again without having reservations. I'll show you what I look like once I'm all snazzed up. And you've seen me, but it'll be nice with the white shirt rather than the black shirt. Loving you. Gonna keep building my case. I work best last minute. That's how I work. All right, Mr. Jeremiah Charles Spellis versus Mr. Joseph Patrick Wren. Let's see how this one goes. This guy's fucked. I got all the paperwork here. I've got all my receipts I've spent since that day. I have screenshots of every single item that I had in possession, except for my clothes, right down to the toothbrush and toothpaste, deodorant. Yeah. So I'm gonna roll in there with a big sheet of all the things that he owes me, all the things he did to me, video proof, etc. And by the way, it's St. Patty's Day. Look, she's got a tutu. Yeah, so I'm walking down to court, and today's gonna be a great day. Not because I'm sticking it to this guy, no. He thought he would scare me off the island because he was gonna take away all my livelihood, but that will not reflect well for him in court, especially considering he's just another white guy like me. Not that I see it that way, but here on the island, that's very important. So, especially being a white guy who has money and sees himself as powerful. I gotta go, my battery's low, and I need the phone for court, so see ya. Yeah, that was cut and dry. That was a cakewalk. Oh my gosh. So I got awarded the $1,600, of course. For having been locked out, I'm going to be getting the money also for the rent that I had paid that month, where I was denied access to the place. And Mr. Wren didn't show up, so it was no contest. Also, my possessions, though, I guess that because I didn't have his address to his domicile, a domicile is different than a residence. You can claim residence several places, but you don't have to actually live there. So when I sent the certified letter to the residence saying, which was my old apartment that he claims to live at but doesn't, which is going to make him look even worse in court because, but basically they couldn't do the second, there are two different separate court dates. 1 second. Bye, have a good one. I'll probably have to see you more soon. She's so sweet. She got hired right when I started going through all this, and she's seen me like 20 times. But yeah, so basically, I have to figure out his address of the home that he lives in, like not just his residence, because they can technically claim residence of a spot that they're subletting to someone else, and whatever, it gets complicated. So I've got to figure out his actual address so that I can get the certified letter there, so that I can prove that he's seen the certified letter. It's him trying to play sticky, but I've been to his house. Yeah, and so basically, I won't be able to be awarded the extra rent money that I had paid and missed out on, or the possessions, which I just added up to. Even before my close, it's $3,400 worth of possessions. No exaggeration. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what he did to that. I don't want any of my stuff back. I just want the money for it. And he's probably sold it all and got rid of it all. But because he didn't show up to court, like if I had had the paperwork saying that he had gotten it, which I guess he didn't because he just wasn't there at the home that he doesn't live at, that he's claiming as residence. So I just got to find his address, which will be easy because there's other methods as well for finding someone's address. So I'll find his address, and then I will send a certified letter there. And then when he doesn't show up to that court date, like he denied this one, it's going to be no contest. So no contest. So the paperwork that I have saying all the possessions that I have, he won't be there to fight it. Now, which means like today, I got to tell him how much my rent was. I could have lied and said it was so much more, but I'm sorry. I'm guessing you know who I am. I don't need to lie. I don't need to lie, and I don't need to steal because, again, I don't hate the guy. You become what you hate. I'm not going to be a scumbag who needs money so bad that he has to, like, steal from someone. No, I just want what I'm due, and I will get what I'm due. And so basically, once I tag in the clothes that I lost and whatever small extraneous items aside, you know, he's probably going to owe me about $4,000 on top of the $1,600. And then we have to deal with the assault and harassment and the denial of my property from a court order, which is a criminal contempt against court. And then separately, I'm also going to sue him in court. So altogether, we're looking at about maybe $6,000 or $7,000 now. And then when I sue him separately, that'll be like another, I mean, who knows, another $5,000 to $10,000. So I wasn't exaggerating. This guy's going to have to pay a good $10,000 to $30,000 for having not just let me finish the month in the place that I had a lease and had paid for. Like, man, sociopathy is a real thing. Continued harassment, getting others to harass me, you know, attempt to destroy as evidence. This guy's not looking pretty, and his wife's on the DA. That does not make her look good either, especially since he has her name on the thing. Is it on behalf of her? He's saying that it's her, so he's like screwing her over while acting like I'm the bad guy because he's just lying to her. And it's like, man, I feel bad for anyone in his life, and I really hope that he makes the changes he needs to improve, because the way you treat others affects the way you feel. And so there's no way he can feel anything good right now, whereas I dealt with everything that was a big struggle with integrity, treating people awesome in the meantime, and I feel like $1 million. I feel like I look like $1 million. So ironically, today is the 17th, St. Patrick's Day, my nephew's and my cousin's birthday, and my next court date is my sister's birthday, April 5th. Life's weird.
You know he won't show up, and even if he does, I have proof of all the things that, you know, he attacked me, he harassed me. I have photo proof, video proof. Look at all these files, this paperwork. I spent $40 just on the 60 cents a copy, showing all the different items and possessions that he stole from me. So, I mean, I've already dropped like $50 just on files. He's gonna have to pay for that too. I have such an extensive, I need to buy a better manila folder. But yeah, long story short, I have evidence, video, photo evidence of all of this. You know, like really, you don't want to take a legal action against someone who does videography and photography in their free time. It's just not the smartest thing. But I don't know, I think he's suffering from the all too common Dunning-Kruger effect, which is where people who think they're the smartest are generally the dumbest because they lack access to the information that helps them to realize how incredibly dumb they are. I think he sees me as an idiot. And look who showed up for the court day looking slick. And look who didn't show up to the court day. Who's the idiot? I'm sorry, but this guy is missing a few screws. So basically, yeah. So that's gonna cost him at least the $3,500 plus for my possessions, if not more awarded for everything. And then on top of that, separately, I'm going to sue him in civil court, which I really didn't want to, but thinking about it, he needs to realize there's repercussions or else he's going to keep playing into his sociopathy and taking advantage of people that he sees as weak. So he's gonna have to learn. And not because I want to use all the money to start my new business, and not because I want revenge and I want to get back at him. Those are the wrong reasons. Again, then I would become like him, become what I hate. And I don't hate him, I wish him the best. But part of that is wishing him the best by hoping and knowing that he's going to have to learn a lesson. And this lesson is not going to be a cheap one. I don't want it to cost his relationship, you know, or time away from his new baby that he just had. But he was given the opportunity to return all my possessions, let me finish the month, and he chose the path that's gonna cost him $10,000 to $30,000. You know, it's tough because I've always struggled setting down boundaries, and I've recently just started trying. I'm actually a product of what they call CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And yeah, it's where a family of cluster B personality disorders, which is like schizophrenia, borderline, manic depression, bipolar, schizoaffective disorder, schizotype disorder, sociopathy, psychopathy, etc. They run in the family, so it's not like it's just my mom who had the mental illness. And this isn't like a shit-talking session on my family. This is just the reality. The whole family will have that issue, and they'll pick a scapegoat because they all have the product, which is narcissistic personality disorder, which can't be cured. It can only be managed through cognitive behavioral therapies and constant therapy, which no one in my family has problems. So basically, people with narcissistic personality disorder, they need a scapegoat. So they pick one person in the family, and it was my uncle, my mom's brother, back whenever, you know, he was growing up in their family, and it was me. And basically they can just blame us for everything and abuse us. And we grow up with what's called CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and that causes us to want to fill the gaps in everyone's lives by making them feel the way we weren't made to feel as children. So we're very giving and loving, and in the process, we become very empathic, and all those traits combined end up becoming a drug to future narcissists and people with narcissistic personality disorder, people who have type B cluster personality disorders. So through the act of trying to make people feel the way we wanted to feel as a kid, we're actually inviting those same abusers back into our lives. You know, the abuser and the abused, they have the same dopamine levels that are released simultaneously. The abused will actually become addicted to becoming abused. And so subconsciously, they're providing the drug who these narcissistic personality disorder, type B B cluster personality disorders who they prey on. And so the only way to break from that chain is stating boundaries. So you have to clearly state a boundary, and they freak out, they do not like it, and you end up like losing people. And so having this type of complex post-traumatic stress disorder will make it seem and make it feel like the only people that exist are narcissists. And so you end up seeking validation, not wanting to be alone, and thinking that those are the only types of people in the world. And in the process, those are the people you draw in, and you think that that's all there is. And what happens is that as you learn to set down boundaries, you end up spending a lot of time alone, and it's not easy. But if you can realize that you don't deserve that in your life, you don't need it in your life, and that you're just as much a part of drawing it into your life as they are perpetuating it in your life, then you're able to break the chain, move on, and allow people who don't have it in your life. Now, up until that point, what can happen is that you can take on the narcissistic personality traits, and it can make you feel like you have the narcissistic personality disorder. But the thing is you don't when you have CPTSD. But you might need to purge yourself of those people as a means of breaking away from those chains that can perpetuate narcissistic personality traits in your own life. But unlike people with narcissistic personality disorder, you can heal yourself of narcissism and narcissistic personality traits. So, long story short, by setting the boundary to this guy that I drew in through how much I was willing to do for others, it made me feel like afraid to set boundaries. But the thing is, I followed through, I stayed positive, I treated everyone right that I could. I ended up in a better home with better roommates, and I'm being awarded all the repercussions due by legal law. So although at first it seemed like I had made a mistake by setting boundaries, choosing to hold to it, no, my hot sauce. I gotta clean that up so no one steps in it. So choosing to hold to my boundaries is, man, I love hot sauce. I was punished with hot sauce when I had a potty mouth as a kid. I would, my mom would make me put Tabasco in my mouth and keep it there for like a few minutes. And so it was better than getting smacked or whatever other punishments I'd get. And so I'd play the drama card and be like, no, not the hot sauce, and cry. But on the side, I was drinking it. Literally, the reason why I love spicy food is because I had a potty mouth. But yeah, so learning to set boundaries is incredible. It's not easy transitioning from someone with CPTSD who only draws in narcissists or project friends, which a lot of times they're the same thing. It's codependency, The codependent a lot of times end up having the narcissistic traits, even on the opposite end of the ones being used. So I guess what I'd say is if any of this resonates with you, check out the Crappy Childhood Fairy on YouTube. She is amazing, and she talks about CPTSD and how you can break the chains, which honestly affect epigenetic memory. They'll affect your children. If you don't fix the issues in your life, then you're only perpetuating them. If you don't choose to take steps to heal, then you're literally passing down these traits to your children who, through epigenetic memory, and in religion they call it generational curses. But it's all one and the same. And if you do research on these topics, you'll realize that Jeremiah's not just full of shit because you haven't heard of it. It's some people's assumption, It's easier to assume that when someone knows something that they're full of shit because you haven't heard of it. But, the fastest path to personal growth is confronting our ego and our comfort levels, So you want to avoid comfort and avoid ego. And sometimes hearing things about yourself or learning things that you've never heard before when you want to assume that you're just this amazingly smart person, it's not easy. But you know what? That's how you grow. So that's me sharing. I don't think I'm anything special, but I know that I'm something special simultaneously. Knowing, not knowing, as they say in Zen Buddhism. But none of that has to make sense. All you need to know is that life is good. I I got hired at a new job doing breakfast and lunches. It looks like a great spot. I start tomorrow. I'm going for another interview today for a serving job that looks pretty great. Things are going awesome at Sky. I'll be serving within the month. The money's great there. Everyone's super nice. Everyone's very, very attractive as well, which is awesome because once I get my underwater photography business going, I've got lots of models to use for my marketing purposes. And yeah, Il Lupino, a bartending gig I'm at, is not going so hot. You know, like telling me I get to earn tips because there's no one there to train me, then telling me I get the tips next week, and then telling me that they're magically gone. The manager's stealing from me. You know, and the money's not even great. And everyone's ready to quit. And things are pretty fucking gross, you know, like when you're done with the orange juice for the day and you're squeezing new orange juice, clean it out. Don't let that film grow in there. You're gonna have it go bad in half a day. You can make the orange juice last 2 days if it's clean. Just simple shit where a lot of people here, I'm sorry, in Hawaii, don't give a crap. And no one's taught them to give a crap. And it's because a lot of them are so busy taking it easy on each other because it's a cultural thing, you know? Everyone's like family, so they get in the job easy. Their family members are the health inspectors. They don't even know about health code violations, which could potentially perpetuate COVID in the most restrictive place against COVID in the United States. It's just asinine. And people may not like me for sharing these things, but the truth is a hard pill to swallow. Loving you. Just like I have been every day, I'm leaving my room organized, neat, just like I want my psych to be at my job. Mise en place, a place for everything in its place, water ready so I don't disturb my roommate later. Everything I can need. A spritz of cologne. Just one. I don't need to smell like it's too much or like I'm trying to compensate for anything. I already smell clean. This new Dr. Bronner's Origin Lavender Organic Hand and Body Lotion. Yeah, a little bit of that up on my hands so they don't look old. On my forehead, my face. To prevent wrinkles. Not trying to be superficial, but why not take care of yourself? Plus it smells great, made with real essential oils. All right, so next, I don't wear my shoes out of the house. Everything's organized. I took my ashwagandha and my multivitamin. I've got my, I'll take the book since it's an Il Lupino book. I've got my electrolytes. I've got my wine key, my lighter, my pens. Everything's ironed that I'm wearing. Take my shoes out. Okay, there. So I don't wear them inside. Don't wear your shoes inside in Hawaii. It's a sign of disrespect even in your own house. Why disrespect your own house? And so, yeah, I'm off to work. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about on the way, so I'm going to let you go and maybe there's going to be something, but got to check the bus schedule. See ya. So, Il Lupino is the job I'm headed to. That is my least desirable job at the moment. I very clearly stated my boundaries that, hey, I will need the tip money that disappeared. Yeah, he told me to give them a shot, and that's what I'm doing. I'm giving them another shot. So I'm trying not to be stuck with my preconceptions while at the same time knowing to be not so much cautious or wary, but reserved with how much energy I'm willing to give them. So I'm on my own busing tonight, and we'll be making cash tips. Tomorrow I'm training the bartender. Saturday I'll be on my own there. Tomorrow morning I start my new job at the Farmhouse Cafe. Saturday I'm double scheduled at Il Lupino and Sky. So if Il Lupino works out, I'll try to give my Sky shift up. And if it doesn't, then I'll just go to Sky. Tomorrow I've got an interview at Kapahale over towards Diamond Head. So I've got to basically run in between my two jobs, between the morning one that I'm training tomorrow and Il Lupino, where I'm going to be training to bartend. and run over there for a quick interview. And then I'm also trying to squeeze in an interview at another place called the Rooftop Bakery Cafe. And yeah, we'll see. I have to go over my options, and places are hitting me back. So yep, I love having options and I love going over them. And yeah, I'm headed to work. I'm gonna have a great shift, great day. Hope you're having a great day. Talk to you later. Yeah, so I had spent so much time and energy praying for it and trying to manifest a break. And it kind of felt like Hawaii just wouldn't give me one. And I swear, as soon as I got into this new apartment, which I had to go through the trials, the adversity, the tribulations to get here, I basically had to go through hell to get to heaven. As soon as I got here into this beautiful energy field that's been nurtured by my landlord and roommate David and my other roommate Carl, all of a sudden I feel like I'm right at their level of comfort in Hawaii as people that have been here for years. And everything's just flowing my way. I mean, today the court date went great. Things are going to go even better by the 5th for the other part of the court date. You know, the only person I've hung out with lately, aside from getting that, I didn't mention, I had a really nice time last night. I had my new friend Ali come, who I met on the bus being friendly. He came and joined Jamie and I and her 3 friends who are in town visiting. And we just had a nice casual apps and a few beers. I just drank water at the Aloha Brewing Company last night. But aside from that, it was the first time I hung out with people. In the past 2 months, I've hung out with some chick from Tinder, my Tinder friend. And that's something that's just been really casual. And I really haven't put much energy towards because, yeah, like I deserve better than just something that's casual. I'm looking for something that's meaningful and stimulating. And it's stimulating as, you know, it is to share the human body with someone of the opposite sex or the same sex, depending on what your preference is. Yeah, I'm looking for something a little bit more. And that's been my only outlet. And I feel like I was settling in ways when it comes to like, yeah, basically just meeting for sex when I shouldn't. And it was because I was lonely. So I've decided to not put as much energy towards it. And of course, today I get back from my court date and she hits me up and lets me know she's been in a bad headspace and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, hey, listen, if you want a friend, like, you know, if you want someone to come over and be positive, or if you want someone to go and do like fun outdoor stuff with and like, you know, hit me up and I'll come by at my first convenience, you know, whenever I'm free. You know, and then all of a sudden I get these other jobs hitting me up, and like as soon as I get back from the court date, all these beautiful things start to flow. And randomly on Tinder and Bumble and whatever all that stuff is, not Grindr. Again, nothing wrong with that preference. It's just not my preference. I'm just trying to be funny. But all of a sudden I get all these like responses and like people reaching out. I swear there's a tangible energy out there that when things are flowing in your life, they flow. And when they're not, they don't. You know, energy blockages is what I'd call them. And right now I'm not experiencing an energy blockage, and I'm on a good path, and I'm gonna stay on the good path, and I'm gonna choose the right decisions, you know, ethically, morally, for my physical health, for my mental health, for my emotional well-being. You know, these are all things that will help my soul and my spirit to thrive and to continue on this path of spiritual growth. So I'm on that path, and my timing has been impeccable. I made it to the court date within 2 minutes to spare with all the paperwork. I keep making it to my jobs with like a minute, 2 minutes to spare. I could be a little earlier, but man, I've had such impeccable timing lately. And timing is one thing where I've always got good intentions, I've always got lots of drive, I've always got a great work ethic, but my timing is so fucked sometimes. And yeah, it does not feel fucked right now. Even something that's so simple as walking down and being on this side of the street than that side of the street like I always used to is now when I cross the street here, I can cut diagonally through the park, which saves me a minute or two. And just learning to become more efficient with my timing is awesome, and making sure to be punctual shows proper respect for myself and for others. And yeah, let's see. This park's beautiful, so I'm gonna hold out, try to think of what else to say. I'm loving the responses I'm getting from people. Lately, I haven't had the trolls as hard on me. I think they're kind of unsubscribing and dropping out. I don't know if they like the direction my life's going. They'd rather have it be something they could say negative things about. And I hate to say it, there's not too much negative they can say right now. So I'm just going to keep being me, being the best me I can, following those Mario Kart time trial ghost images of myself, and just like I said, going around that corner to see how I can better go around that corner. That's me right now, cutting diagonally through the park. Let's flip it the other way so you can see how very beautiful this park is, and how wonderful even something so simple as my walk to the bus stop is at this point in my life. Let me share. This is the spot where I joke and I say there's homeless bidets. What's funny is that the restaurant I'm going to in the Royal Hawaiian Plaza in downtown Waikiki, they have bidets in the bathroom and in the food court. Although I've only found one that worked, and I only used it once. It felt kind of weird. I don't know. I'm like trying to figure out how the splashback from other people's asses doesn't hit the nozzle and spray their ass juice onto my ass. I really just don't get it. So to me, that's what I'm more worried about than I am like something tickling my ass. I mean, to be honest, the time I did it was nice because I hadn't been able to get like a proper shower while living in that box for those 3 weeks. So it was nice because that's like probably the one spot where I want to be washed up. But I don't know, it's totally a European thing, and nothing wrong with those Europeans, but yeah, you know, cultural norms are cultural norms, and we have comforts and comfort zones that are created culturally. And then, yeah, here's that burial mound again. So beautiful. I want to make sure to honor the natives, so I won't walk too close. They don't like to be called natives. I'm sorry, the local Polynesians. Look how beautiful that is. Gosh, I'm just loving my life right now. Here's someone doing some yoga in the park. Cool. I don't think I did my sunrise salutations today. Maybe I'll make time to do it at the bus stop and look funky in my full outfit. I'm sure you realize, I really don't care what other people think. And there's a beauty to that. You know, everything has its pros and cons, but I feel like when you're someone who has a lot of strength, as a unique person, go ahead and embrace being yourself. I know I will. Yeah, so I really liked that. I liked the job. Filipino, the one that I wasn't happy with. I'm stoked to bartend tomorrow. I think the money's gonna be better than I think. Sorry, sir. They're all so nice. They're letting me talk about MK Ultra. The one guy's interested. The one guy who's interested in the MK Ultra shit, turns out he was in the gifted program. Go figure. I'm like, bro, you know you were MK Ultra. I'm like, if you're interested in it, there's a reason. He's like, yeah, I've always kind of felt like I've been some weird government experiment. I'm like, bro, you are. And he's like, and I was in the gifted program. I'm like, I fucking knew it. And yeah, he's cool as shit. Nico, good guy. They're all pretty humble for how awesome they are. You know, which is rare, especially in Hawaii. So work went well. I love it here. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to manage to go over my options still. But yeah, the only real issue is gonna be sleep. I've got to study up for my new job tomorrow in the morning. I work at 8:45, so I gotta leave my place at like, I think it's a 30-minute walk, which isn't bad. So I gotta leave my place at like, you know, 8, so I can be there early. So I gotta wake up at like 7. It's 11 now, so I'll make it back and hopefully get like 7 hours of sleep. And yeah, things are pretty great. I got to train a new guy today, which was cool. I love being able to train someone, especially someone who's intelligent and receptive and not just willing to like learn the what, but also the how and the why, and let me correct him as far as like the seams being out, and hey, you know, as a leader, you need to sandwich it. Hey, Jacob, you're doing such a great job, man. I really like the way you're just constantly working. If I could add one little piece of advice, the linens on the tablecloths, they need to have the seam on the inside, if you don't mind, please. I really love how much attention to detail you're showing, and it really says a lot since this is your first restaurant job. It's called sandwiching. That's what leaders do. You use positive feedback, and more positive feedback than you do even constructive criticism. You double the positive feedback per piece of constructive criticism. I've studied up on leadership before, which sounds like me tooting my own horn, which I do a lot, but fuck off. You know, generally if it's bothering you I say this, it's because you haven't learned that. So go build yourself up instead of like tearing me down. Deal with it, or watch another channel. Yeah, so the kid was super receptive, and I bought a pizza and shared it with him, and it was kind of funny because the one guy came up and just grabbed a slice of pizza. He thought it was free pizza. And I was like, brother, and I was kind of rude, but I was like, brother, I'm like, I love to share, but I like to choose when I share. Do you mind just not grabbing my food like that, please? And he felt so bad because he just thought it was extra, but I had paid for it. And having grown up in scarcity, I love to share, but again, I love to choose when I share. And then the other guy's like, oh, well, can I have a piece of pizza? Nope. I said, last week I gave everyone a slice when I bought a pizza. I said, can't afford to just give everyone pizza just because I'm eating. Sorry, bud. It was nice because I got to admit that I suck at stating boundaries, and I'm learning too. And he gave me an opportunity, and although they're kind of cringy, that my boundary setting, it's like, it's a nice opportunity with people that are open and receptive to like, yeah, boundaries. Man, life is so good. I get home and there's just all this food on my floor. Almonds, real maple syrup, peanut butter, some jelly drink, wildflower honey, homemade popcorn, like the toffee crunch. I have the best roommates ever. Oh my gosh. It's midnight and I have to wake up to be to work at 8:45, so I've got to go to sleep now. Probably do a little bit of video editing. I mean, honestly, between work and YouTube, I'm doing like 90 plus hours a week. The YouTube takes a lot. Probably doing like 2 hours plus a day, and been working a lot, and I'm so happy. Thanks for letting me share. See ya.